Всем привет и добро пожаловать на 5-е прохождение игры Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishments. Надо все-таки добить, насколько я знаю, здесь буквально 2-3 главы осталось. Продолжаем. Драма в Кью-Гарденс. Дедуктивный значок показывает, что на основании найденных улик можно сделать дедуктивный вывод и продвинуться в расследовании. Продолжить. Посмотреть в телескоп. В очередной раз. Что мы там не видели? Да. Надеюсь, в конце нам объяснят. Пюсель.
Oh dear, Toby. I wasn't aware that you were Watson's new literary agent. Oh dear, Toby.
Well, I'll admit that I'd far rather accompany you than remain alone here with these workers of yours.
Напоминаю, с последнего стрима мы остановились на начале задания, и Шерлок выпустил пчел и при помощи скрипки пытался ими манипулировать.
A map of London and the surrounding area. It could be useful.
Так, отправляемся в Кью-Гарденс.
Well, Holmes, here we are at the Royal Botanic Gardens. There's no doubt that this place is beautiful. But are you really intent on investigating the theft of the plants?
Yes, of course.
What are we doing, Holmes?
Let us find someone who could help us.
Don't touch anything else, is that clear? Just go and get a bucket of fertilizer. And without turning it over this time. Good day to you, gentlemen. How may I help you? If you are here for a visit, please do come back on Sunday.
I am afraid that it cannot wait. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson. We are investigating the theft of plants that took place here 5 days ago. A remarkable collection, I believe.
So you're the one in charge, eh?
A small favour for a friend. Now, to whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
I am Martin Hamish. I am the Deputy Director of Kью-Гарденс. And that fellow yonder is Albert. He works here.
I am delighted to meet you. What can you tell us about the plants?
They were rare and exceptional plants. We presented them at our last exhibition. We haven't removed the stand yet. It is still in the large glass house. We only learned of their disappearance the evening after the exhibition, and nobody saw anything.
No doors were forced?
No, but I would imagine that for a thief it would be fairly easy to gain entry, for there are no guards here.
Well, if you don't mind, we will take a look. Now, you say that it is in the large glass house.
Yes, the one just behind me. Just a second, since Albert has nothing else to do. Albert, show these gentlemen where the exhibition was held.
How many people work here?
Only myself, but occasionally 2 students, Albert, whom you have met, and Miss White.
Here it is. This is the place where the stolen plants were exhibited.
Thank you. Is there something the matter?
Yes, there is. All right, the plants were valuable and rare, but it seems to me that the tragedy that took place here only 2 days ago has been entirely forgotten already.
What tragedy are you referring to?
The director of Kью-Гарденс, Mr. Montague Dunn, he died here just 2 days ago.
We're very sorry. We were not aware. The two of you were good friends?
He was my father.
Oh dear. Our condolences. We should not be troubling you. Please do excuse us for the intrusion.
You say that he died here, in the large glass house?
Holmes?
Yes, just here, near the door to the Colonial Collection. He suffered a heart attack. Just like that. So suddenly. It was terrible. Excuse me, gentlemen, but I cannot remain here. If you need me, I'll be in the reserve. That's the room next to the front of the large greenhouse.
Of course, we understand.
What should we do next, Holmes?
Почему субтитры вслух не читаю? Потому что приятно слушать английскую речь. Может быть, кому-нибудь в дальнейшем тоже пригодится и понадобится. Могут пересматривать, вслушиваться в диалоги.
Do not touch.
The plants were here. All of them were stolen.
Дианая Карниворус, Карлина Нерприар, Флорам Диаболика, Ромалаена Адората, Ронус Сератина, Елеофорес Тепус, Библис, Генлисия, Виоласия, Тарлингтония, Кракоукас, Цефалотус.
Here is a list of the stolen plants.
Лучше я не буду ничего читать.
According to Albert, this is where his father, Montague Dunn, was found dead. Blood. Soil. It should have come from a flower pot. The soil on the side of this flower shelf is the same as that on the ground. Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here. This pot was broken fairly recently. A flower pot recently fell down from these shelves and was misplaced. The door was smashed at shoulder height. This door handle is new. It was recently changed. The esconson was breached near the handle. The door was forced from the inside of the Colonial Collection room. The handle was changed afterwards.
I think we need to inspect the Colonial Collection room.
Very strange. Half of the Colonial Collection is absent. The smell is strong. It is a detergent. These windows were perfectly cleaned. This broken fragment was the result of a heavy blow. A fragment of marble, most likely chipped from a statue or sculpture. Part of this greenhouse was emptied and thoroughly clean. This is one of the outlets of the ventilation system.
Я же вроде все посмотрел. Странно. А на что он мне намекает?
These plants come from all the territories of the British Empire.
Вроде все смотрел. А, нет.
The traces are thinner in some places. These boot marks are fresh. It appears as though someone was dragging their feet. The footprints reveal that someone staggered here. This sign is broken. Something heavy was dropped upon it. Someone fell violently against this sign, and they were injured in the clash, most likely a head wound. All the clues around here are quite suspicious. I need my imagination to make sense of it all. This reconstruction reveals a disturbing fact. Montague Dunn damaged the door of the Colonial Collection Room.
He was in a panic, or the door was locked? Was it an accident, or a murder then, I wonder?
These trees, with their roots in water, must originate from Louisiana.
Ah, yes, the bayou. I remember our visit in the case of the Awakened.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
Do you work here?
Yes, but part-time only, for I'm also studying botany at the University of London.
You're following in your father's footsteps, then. That is commendable.
Well, even if botany is not my strongest suit, there are people who say that I could be a good manager.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon. Palm House. Albert told us about the tragic death of Mr. Dunn, the late director of Kью-Гарденс.
Tragic indeed. His heart attack was quite unexpected.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. Colonial Collection. Water Lily Greenhouse. Dry Tropics. Palm House. Director's Office, Cloakroom and Laboratory. Nursery. Seed House. Ventilation System. A map of Kью-Гарденс. Reserve. Locked. Locked.
Бегаю. Ориентироваться удобнее.
Locked. Nursery.
Карта. Был там, стал здесь. Мгм.
Nursery. Locked. Seed house. Locked.
Всё закрыто.
There is a smell of burning.
Горим! Горим!
A protective mask. Someone set it alight, but it did not burn. A door handle? Why would anyone throw such a thing in the fire? The door handle to the colonial collection and that of the fireplace are made of the same material.
Мораль. Это никакой не сердечный приступ. Директора убили.
A broom handle was half burned. The remains of a picture frame. The plants were set alight fairly recently. Some have not completely burned.
Ещё что-то. Что еще может быть? Что я не увидел? А, ну давай через это. Разбитый горшок. Тот самый горшок. Да?
The symbol is not from Kью-Гарденс.
Я уже эту фишку просек. Пока все детали не найдешь, оно не закрывается. Окно. Так, тут что интересное? О, горшочки. Горшочки.
A water tank. A ventilation system. It should regulate the temperature of the staff buildings. Dry tropics. These flower pots are beautiful. They are intended to be used for exhibition purposes. The symbol is not from Kью-Гарденс. Water lily greenhouse. According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building.
Так, итогось. Мы вернулись, откуда начали. Прошли по кругу. Так,
Water
ещё
lily
раз.
greenhouse.
Следим. Ладно, что с дедукцией. Опустевшая коллекция. Ловушка для Дана. То есть либо то, да? Так, ну-ка моргни по всей этой. Уех. Сколько всех деталей. Так, проведите аутопсию Монтегрю Данна. Смерть подозрительна. Почему он ломился в дверь комнаты с колониальной коллекцией? Почему кто-то опустошил и убрал комнату? Это ловушка или несчастный случай? Давай проведем аутопсию. Так, найти похищенные растения с последней выставки в Кью-Гарден и проведите аутопсию Монтегю Дана. Так, искать в архивах. Искать в архивах. Искать в архивах. Начнем с первой. Осколок статуи. Осколок мрамора, найденный на полу в комнате с колониальной коллекцией. Судя по его форме и изысканности, это часть статуи или скульптуры. Дверь. Восстановление обстоятельств смерти Монтегю Дана выявило следующее. Он выламывал дверь комнаты. То есть он либо запаниковал, либо дверь была заперта. Если второе, произошло предумышленное убийство. Так, список украденных растений. Список растений Кью-Гарденс. Венера плотоядная. Карлина пьяная. Дьявольский цветок. Хромалаена пахучая. Черемуха поздняя. Гелиамфора или гелиамфора. Типуи. Библис. Гинлизея виолацея. Дарлингтония. Кракоукас цефалотус или цефалотус. Цефалотус. Так, эмблема на разбитом горшке. Эмблема на разбитом цветочном горшке, найденном на заднем дворе. Это не символика Кью-Гарденс. Это глиф означает божественное, если я не ошибаюсь. Так, эмблема на цветочных горшках, найденных в Кью-Гарденс. Горшки принесены извне. Танджи Крокер. Отважный моряк, ему 40. Это из предыдущего задания. Альберт Дан. Альберт Дан. Нервный, беспокойный молодой человек, что заметно по обкусанным ногтям. Использует детергент для чистки рук, что не особо хорошо, раз он имеет дело с растениями. У него красные глаза, он недавно плакал. Возраст указывает на учебу в университете, хорошо выглядит, не женат, вероятно, живет с матерью. Мартин Хэмиш. Мартин Хэмиш не женат. Состояние его рук и ногтей выдает в нем садовника, грязные и затвердевшие. Он близорук, носит бифокальные очки. Простой человек тяжело работает, пренебрегая внешним видом. Крайне маловероятно, что встречается с женщиной. Он живет один. Так, ну и еще двоих мы здесь можем встретить. А пока что в Скотланд-Ярд.
I asked Inspector Lestrade to take Montague Dunn's body to Scotland Yard.
It's ready for autopsy then. It's ready for autopsy then.
А, его личные вещи.
This watch is of great value. A beautiful feather pen of a good make.
Так, письмо мистеру Уэйну. Мистер Уэйн, директору печатающей компании Уэйн и сыновья. Дорогой друг, ваши плакаты для большой выставки в Кью-Гарденс прекрасны, однако не стоило указывать весь персонал. Достаточно моего имени. Монтегю Дан. Угу. То есть на плакате хотелось бы, чтобы было только Монтегю Дан, а кто-то из персонала, видать, на это обиделся. Клубная карта.
A membership card for the London Crest Club.
Так. Далее. Подвал. Что-нибудь еще интересное есть? Или сразу приступим?
First of all, let us carry out an external examination.
Итак.
There are no suspicious marks upon the chest. Let us finish our external examination so that we can proceed with the autopsy. There is an injury to the skull, most probably caused by the fall in the water lily greenhouse. The vessels and the pupil of the eye appear quite normal. The air from the lungs carries a faint floral aroma. Nothing suspicious here. No redness, stings, or bruises. Now, let us examine the internal organs.
Давай с легких начнем.
The lungs are congested and edematous. The tissue on the inferior lobe of the right lung is damaged, most probably caused by toxins from an unknown plant. The heart's blood vessels show no pathological signs. The heart tissue shows no visible pathological signs. The liver is enlarged. It would seem that he was suffering from an alcohol addiction. The liver tissue is brown. There are no visible pathological signs.
Да, забавно на 30-м году жизни узнать, что печень по-английски liver, и получается ливерная колбаса, это колбаса из печени.
The stomach tissues show no visible pathological signs. There is a small amount of content. It appears that he breakfasted lightly, only a short while before his death. My suspicions have been substantiated. Montague Dunn, the director of Kью-Гарденс, died from poisoning. Plant poisoning, to be more exact.
You mean
Yes, it is murder.
we should inform Lestrade?
Yes, but do remember, Watson, that I discovered the murder. The challenge is mine.
The challenge, Holmes?
We need to locate that deadly plant. Such a perfect murder appeals to me.
Murder of any kind appeals to you. Is that all we need to do?
No, we also have the people working at Kью-Гарденс. Martin Hamish and the son of the victim, Albert Dunn.
And also Miss White, of whom we spoke with Mr. Hamish. Should we bring them all here for interrogation?
No. A few innocuous questions at Kew will suffice, as well as a discreet delve into their personal affairs. Yes, Watson, it is time now to open the doors.
Even those in the staff building? I suppose that is necessary.
We should also be concerned with the victim himself. After all, we don't know very much about Montague Dunn.
You're enjoying this already, aren't you?
More than a little.
Оказавшись запертым в комнате с колониальной коллекцией, Монтегрю вдохнул сильный растительный яд. Осталось выяснить, кто его убил. Меня смущает, когда проходит вот это вот рентген полоса, или как ее обозвать. Здесь много мелких деталек. Вот. И вот здесь еще 3. То есть получается, я что-то не нахожу в игре. Или как?
Locked. Locked. Mr. Hamish, can you explain to us what happened to the colonial collection? It seems somewhat depleted.
But, most likely maintenance work, tidying up.
You're not sure, then? But you're the deputy director.
Well, I am busy. I cannot be everywhere at once.
As deputy director, how was your relationship with Montague Dunn?
To be honest with you, Mr. Holmes, it could have been better. You see, every Tuesday he would carry out his inspection of the gardens, but it was solely to make an impression, great pretense that he cared at all. He would give out absurd orders, ignoring anyone else's opinion. He would then disappear for the rest of the week. He was what some might call a man of action. I'd say rather he was overzealous and chaotic. So after all, it was no wonder, perhaps, that he ended up like that, if you take into consideration his kind of lifestyle.
You mentioned that Mr. Dunn led a particular lifestyle.
Well, it's no secret that he enjoyed, celebrating, shall we say? He was a member of the London Smart Set. He was famous for it. That
And
he had an eye for the ladies, to put it mildly, Mr. Holmes.
what is your opinion of Albert as a student of botany?
He's useless. I often tell him so, and I can only give him cleaning tasks. Botany is not his life's work, and his father well knew it. He was furious about it.
He was.
Oh, yes. He forced his son to work here, and he never missed an opportunity to criticize him publicly.
Are you able to elaborate on that?
Well, for example, with our last exhibition here, Mr. Dunn had Albert make a presentation speech. But then, while the lad was speaking, Mr. Dunn interrupted him, asking him difficult questions, making him look like a failure. It was with the intention of making a fool of him, Mr. Holmes.
That must have been terribly humiliating.
Yes, he was crushed, and he had to leave. Everybody was making fun of poor Albert. That is, except for Miss Margaret White, who is such a nice lady and who always takes pity on Albert.
Tell me, Mr. Hamish, do you grow the more deadly variety of plant here?
You mean insectivorous? Yes, but nothing larger than that.
You mentioned a Miss White. Would you tell us more about her?
She is a student who works here part-time. She is quite charming indeed. She possesses a great talent for botany. You should take a look at some of her experiments that she carried out in the laboratory. Ah, if only she were not so naive.
Why naive?
The way she used to flutter around Mr. Montague Dunn. And why, he couldn't help but be flattered by all her attention. How could an intelligent woman such as Miss White not see through his game? I can only scratch my head and wonder.
Mr. Hamish, can you tell us who holds the keys to the locked greenhouses?
That would be Albert, Mr. Dunn's son. Yes, Albert keeps all the keys, and one can only imagine why.
What do you mean?
Well, he was never interested in Kew Gardens before. And now, all of a sudden, he is trying to act as if he owns the place. I think he wants to take over the management here. He'd do better to leave that to me. He has no experience. No, none at all.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Уже убийца-садовник.
Locked. Who is Miss Margaret White?
Ah, she is the young lady who studies with me. She visits here sometimes to help out with the greenhouses. In fact, she should be here today. She wanted to work at the seed house. That's the small greenhouse across from the large glass house.
We noticed that a part of the colonial collection has been cleared.
Ah, at the moment I'm just dealing with the storage room. I don't know much about the other rooms.
I imagine that your relationship with your father may have been a strained one.
Yes. I cannot say that he was a kind man, for he never listened to me at all. He forced me to work here. But now, after his death, I've been pondering it over. Perhaps he wasn't so wrong about me after all. I have to follow his path, and I have to manage Kew Gardens, and I can do it. I can be as good as any other who works here.
Would you please tell us about Martin Hamish, the deputy director?
Well, I have to tell you that Mr. Hamish is not and has never been the deputy director of Kью-Гарденс. My father would not have tolerated it.
Indeed? Well, that is most interesting. He told us that he was.
Yes, because he believes that the management should be passed down to him now that my father is dead. But in actual fact, Mr. Hamish only has the honour of being the garden's longest-serving employee. In fact, if we are to think logically at all, it should be me who takes over the management of Kью-Гарденс.
Do you not have a good relationship with Mr. Hamish?
I suppose so. But we have very little in common. Mr. Hamish loves his plants and Kью-Гарденс, and I cannot say that I share his passion.
I see. And how was his relationship with your father?
Oh, he hated my father. It was obvious. He would be furious whenever my father boasted of Kью-Гарденс in the newspapers or at conferences. He was convinced that my father was stealing all of the credit for himself. But my father treated Mr. Hamish in the same way as he treated anyone. Dismissively. With indifference.
Do you hold the keys to all of these locked doors?
Yes, you can have them. But I cannot give you the keys to the cloakroom. The employees' effects are private. I am sure you understand.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Итак. Набор ключей от всех дверей в Кью-Гарденс, за исключением одного от раздевалки. Для начала съездим в архив. Поковыряемся в архиве, посмотрим, что там есть. Список украденных растений. Химия, яды и токсины, раны и травмы. Яды и токсины, семена полиголова. Химия. Но и нам явно не в химию, яды и токсины. Семена.
That is not the one I need.
Яды.
That is not the one I need.
Белладонна.
That is not the one I need.
Цианид.
That is not the one I need.
Мышьяк.
That is...
Мимо. Это исследование. Газеты. Так, в газетах что-то про растения. Победа, грабеж, сокровища, война. Новый английский художественный клуб. Тайна. Так, искусство и архитектура сразу нет, экономика тоже мимо, технологии, история, медицина, ботаника. Растительные гормоны, лечебные травы, экзотические растения, часть 4, яды. Следующие виды растений по своей природе способны выделять токсины. Венера плотоядная, Карлина. Только первые 3 из них опасны для человека, в особенности дьявольский цветок, но при специфических условиях данное растение должно отреагировать на агрессию, при которой оно выпускает ядовитые споры. Ага.
Here it is.
Итак, эмблема. Так, эмблема на разбитом цветочном горшке, найденном на заднем дворе. Это не символ Кью-Гарден, это глиф, означает божественный, если я не ошибаюсь. Так, глиф божественный. Искусство и архитектура. Так, Институт британской архитектуры, старинное искусство в Британском музее.
That is not the one I need.
Мимо. Так, экономика вряд ли, технология вряд ли. История. Так, газеты. Исследования. Так, химия, ядотоксины, раны, травмы, криминалистика, единоборство, знаки и символы. Божественный синдикат. Божественный схоластический синдикат почитателям растительности. Члены этого синдиката поклоняются Тревану, верховному божеству. Они стремятся достигнуть духовного мира и освободиться от материального, поэтому щедрые пожертвования приветствуются.
Here it is. The Divine Syndicate is not a supplier to Kyu-Gardens. Besides, there is no address here.
Так, и еще эмблема на горшке. Эмблема на цветочных горшках, найденные в Кью-Гарденс. Горшки принесены извне.
That is not...
Понятно. О, сады Сеймора. Оборудование и инструменты для садов. Мы являемся лучшим поставщиком для любых ландшафтных, садовых и земляных работ. Полный ассортимент, доставка и выгрузка песка, почвы, грунта, горшков и всего, что требуется. 3 Плартон Роуд, Лондон.
Here it is.
Так, что еще? А, письмо. С прошлой части, если не ошибаюсь. С прошлой главы. Признание леди Брекенстол. Дорогой мистер Холмс, я все же набралась смелости написать вам это письмо. Мне сложно подобрать слова, чтобы выразить всю мою признательность за вашу доброту. В тот ужасный день я верила, что моя жизнь разрушена, но я также осознала, что лишь один человек в мире искренне любит меня, а я люблю его в ответ. Мы оба знаем его имя, капитан Джек Кроукер. Его любовь придала подлинный смысл моей жизни. Даже если мы не сможем быть вместе, ничего из этого не случилось бы без вашего участия, мистер Холмс. Искренне ваша Мэри Брекенстол. А для тех, кто не помнит, это прошлая глава «Убийство на Эбби Грейдж». Так, сведения об опасных растениях, письмо. Так, осколок статуи надо будет найти, ключи применить. Так, найти похищенные, найти растения.
French wine, a remarkable vintage. Champagne. Montague Dunn had good taste.
Так, моя дорогая Маргарет, с учетом нашего последнего разговора, полагаю, для вас будет лучше оставить свою должность в Кью-Гарден. Как вы точно указали, вы более не нуждаетесь в моей поддержке. Вы вполне способны самостоятельно добиться успеха в этом мире, по вашим словам. Что ж, я возвращаю вам свободу и искренне желаю удачи. Монтегю Дан.
Newspapers discussing Kyu-Gardens.
Так, новые виды растений. Коллектив Кью-Гарденс рад объявить об успешном выведении нового сорта ячменя, полностью морозостойкого. Он получил название сибирский ячмень. Мистер Мартин Хэмиш, сумевший культивировать этот сорт, расскажет о нем на пресс-конференции, которая состоится утром в следующий понедельник. Ничего? Ну ладно. Так, фотки. Фотки.
A photograph of Montague Dunn and Reynold Hamish.
Мгм. Помощь юриста. Мой дорогой друг, позвольте мне выразить разочарование по поводу вашего последнего письма. Я плачу, чтобы вы защищали меня, а не обвиняли. Кью-Гарден — это королевское учреждение. Нам предоставлена великолепная возможность путешествовать по миру и сохранять наиболее удивительные и редкие виды растений. Наш долг защитить эти виды и от тех, кто может пожелать использовать их для сомнительных целей. Этот божественный синдикат, о котором вы говорили, не имеет никаких прав на такие ценные растения. Вспомните случай 14 июня 1889 года. В связи с этим я вынужден повторить свою просьбу нотариально закрепить разрешение на эти растения за Кью-Гарденс. Документы были вам отправлены в понедельник. По скриптам увидимся во вторник в Боддлс, как всегда. Монтегю Дан. Жалоба. Мистер Дан, мы настоятельно просим вас в последний раз вернуть нам наших сестер. Вы не имеете права держать их у себя, они не ваша собственность. Ваше так называемое разрешение — фальшивка. Вы прячетесь за ложью, которая была сообщена прессе по поводу инцидента 14 июня 1989 года. То, что вы сделали, отвратительно. Будьте уверены, мы никогда не отказываемся от членов своей семьи. Мы доверились вам и жалеем об этом. Божественный синдикат. Ага. Как интересно.
I suggest that we don't tell Miss Margaret White about this document.
Индивидуальное судо. Долг мисс Маргарет Уайт мистеру Монтегю Дану. Рента за съем комнат на Оксфорд-стрит. Стипендия на учебу в Лондонском университете. Кредит, взятый в Гамильтоне. Услуги портных дома Редигана и ювелиров из Бейерт и сыновья. Идем дальше.
Locked.
Тут у нас что? Вот. Защитного костюма и не хватает.
Such masks are generally worn when dealing with toxic chemicals. Gloves, waterproof aprons, everything one might need for self-protection.
Do they grow dangerous plants here?
It appears as though the protective equipment is missing from here. Locked.
Holmes, Albert Dunn didn't give us the key to this door.
It does not matter. We will open it. Open. Miss White's locker. A draft of the letter that Miss White sent to her parents.
Родителям, дорогие мама и папа, мне сложно просить вас о помощи в этом письме. Мои расходы на обучение и жилье оказались больше, чем я ожидала. Боюсь, в скором времени я уже не смогу оплачивать их. Я знаю, у нас в прошлом были разногласия, но неужели вы будете столь бессердечны, что позволите вашей дочери не закончить учебу из-за недостатка денег? Маргарет.
Apparently, Miss White is a capable student. These jewels must be worth a small fortune. A vanity purse. It is of high quality.
Привет, родителей. Маргарет, с удивлением получили от тебя письмо. Как тебе пришло в голову просить деньги после стольких лет с момента твоего ухода, когда ты даже не думала о нас? Ты никогда не рассказывал нам о своих успехах в университете, но решила это сделать сейчас? Мы считали, что ты стыдишься нас, поскольку мы не принадлежим такому высокому классу, что и твои новые друзья. Да, мы скромно живем, но тебе следует научиться ставить семью на первое место, как мы это делаем дома. И никто из нас не запятнал свою репутацию, так как это сделал ты со своим нанимателем, мистером Данном. Нет, Маргарет, это ты заставляешь нас стыдиться тебя, твои родители. Их жаркая тема для обсуждения. Как оно правильно по поводу родительского научиться ставить семью на первое место. Семья на первом месте или все-таки обучение, университет и карьера? Как правильно жить? Так, письмо Альберта мисс Уайт. Дорогая Маргарет, я знаю, насколько сложно ваше нынешнее финансовое положение. Пожалуйста, позвольте мне заверить вас, что я не оставлю вас один на один с этой проблемой. Я родился в состоятельной семье, и я сочту за честь, если вы примите мою помощь. Ваш преданный слуга Альберт. Ай да, Альберт. Маргарет Уайт. Шкафчик.
Albert's locker.
Так, книжки, тут ничего интересного.
Specialist articles on shipyards and ship construction. Albert Dunn has a great passion for shipbuilding and the sea. A rejection letter from the British Royal Naval College.
Так, письмо с отказом из колледжа, школы Королевского военно-морского флота, Центр подготовки, Лондон. Сэр, с сожалением сообщаем, что несмотря на ваши превосходные результаты на внутренних экзаменах, мы не можем принять вас в школу Королевского военно-морского флота. Ваш отец, мистер Монтегю Дан, выразил намерение рекомендовать вас на должность директора Королевского ботанического сада в Кью, из чего следует, что он не позволит вам пройти годовое обучение в нашей школе. Примите наши наилучшие пожелания по поводу вашего будущего в Кью-Гарден. Искренне ваш Д.М. Ле Марчант, директор Центра подготовки военных моряков. Угу. То есть сынуля хотел. Так, все же больше ничего. Или я что-то упустил? Что он тогда не закрывается? Ага, значит, все-таки что-то упустил. Ищем. Что поднять? А. Ага. Вот он.
Young Albert, standing with a woman in front of London University.
Университетом. Вот, теперь все.
Martin Hamish's locker. Father and I, Kью-Гарденс. A review on rare and exotic plants. Martin Hamish has written several pieces. Martin Hamish studied chemistry. Interesting.
Мистер генеральный секретарь, последние события в Кью-Гарден заставили меня вновь подать заявление на должность управляющего. Как я указывал в предыдущих письмах, считаю, что лучше кандидата вы не найдете. Пока мистер Монтегю Дан был жив, я понимал ваши отказы. Они были вызваны политическими соображениями, но теперь Кью-Гарден погружается в хаос. Как могу я стоять в стороне и позволять это? Как могу я доверить все неопытным людям с отсутствующей мотивацией? Я вынужден просить вас ускорить принятие решения, чтобы я мог полностью заняться делом и избавиться от мыслей об этой неопределенности. Интересно. Так, дверь за собой закроем? Закроем. Ну ладно.
The employee's cloakroom. A botany book. This student's book belongs to Albert. Chemicals, a sufficient quantity for some serious experiments.
A phonograph used for voice recording. Remarkable.
Yes, this is quite a modern laboratory.
Martin Hamish's perception of plants. The notion of communication in the plant world has long been considered marginal, yet I remain convinced that some plants do indeed transmit chemical signals in the event of attack.
A study report by Martin Hamish.
And it seems clear from these multiple experiments that plants do respond to their environment and have a form of consciousness. Margaret White, February 1895. Report number 245.
Study report. This is a table for experiments. It resembles my own.
Only this one is kept in good order, Holmes. Gold dust? Good heavens. What's it doing here?
The gold is almost immune to chemical attacks, so it may be a valuable auxiliary for various experiments.
But why would anyone perform such experiments in a botanical garden?
There was a bottle here. It left behind a trace of the substance that pervaded the laboratory. Several drops of the substance were spilled. Someone carried this bottle around. Several drops of the substance were spilled. The bottle is no longer here, but it is possible to detect a faint scent. We need a good nose.
Нос, но чуть позже. Сейчас
Locked.
теплица. А что в теплице? В теплице, по-моему, ничего интересного. Да? Рабочий стол.
A glasses case. It is empty. A thesis, written by Martin Hamish. This area serves as Martin Hamish's office. We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window. This poster is for an exhibition that Martin Hamish was directing, but it had nothing to do with Kyu-Gardens. This certificate belongs to Martin Hamish. He won a horticultural competition.
О,
It is a bust of Montague Dunn. I am curious if the marble that we found will fit this place. Here it is. The marble fragment that we found in the Colonial Collection Room is what they have in common.
семена.
Open.
Семян.
From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room. Materials for college study. They belong to Albert. A book about ships. Nothing at all to do with plants. These leather gloves are new and of good quality. They do not appear to have been used. This place serves as Albert's office.
Good day to you, miss. You have some very beautiful plants here.
Why, thank you, sir. And good day to you, too. But...
Oh, I do beg your pardon. My name is Dr. John Watson. This is my good friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
I am honored to make your acquaintance, gentlemen. My name is Margaret White. Excuse me, but are you Sherlock Holmes, the great detective?
Yes, I am he.
What a pleasure to see you here at Kyu-Gardens. Are you working on a case?
Духи. И Все? Ага. Обожженные руки. Так, еще раз чего? Из бедной семьи. Розовая отметина из бедной семьи. Не замужем. Так себе портрет.
Yes, a theft of plants that took place here a few days ago after their most recent exhibition.
Oh, yes, of course. I quite forgot about that.
Oh, it's quite understandable that you might forget about the theft of the plants, miss, after the tragedy that took place here.
Yes. The director was a truly good man. It is such a terrible misfortune.
Would you happen to know why part of the colonial collection was cleared?
No, I have never been there.
Do you work here?
Part-time only. I am a biology student at the London University. I attend the same classes as the son of Mr. Montague Dunn. That is how I found my chance to work here for part of my thesis, you see. It is a great honor.
How well did you know Mr. Montague Dunn?
He was a master, a great leader. I saw him almost as a spiritual father.
He had an exceptional nature?
Oh yes, indeed. He was always so active and so optimistic, and very nice to me. Although he could behave harshly towards his son.
Why so?
He loved his son dearly and wanted the very best for him. It made him extremely demanding. Albert, who is naturally shy, suffered because of it.
The Divine Syndicate. Does that name mean anything to you, by any chance?
Not at all. But it is a very pretty name.
Most of the doors in Kью-Гарденс are locked. Do you have a key to this room?
Oh, yes. Albert gave me a set of duplicate keys. He agreed I might carry out my studies without disturbing him. It is only temporary.
Thank you, miss. None of the 3 people who work at Kью-Гарденс know why half of the colonial collection was cleared. So, someone is lying. It is obvious.
Мисс Маргарет Уайт, прекрасная молодая леди с небольшим состоянием. Вместе с тем, на ее руках есть темные точки, это следы пелагры, возникающие при долгом недоедании. Это доказывает, что ее детство было бедным и несчастным, однако ее нынешнее состояние свидетельствует о счастливых переменах в судьбе. И при этом есть еще некий мистер Икс, которого мы должны найти. Так, участник Божественного Синдиката написал жалобу на Кью-Гарденс и упомянул старое дело, о котором рассказывали в газетах, случай 14 июня 1989 года. Ладно, для начала пойдем пообщаемся. А все вопросы потом. Так.
Mr. Hamish, was someone from your family connected with Kью-Гарденс?
Family? No. I'm the only one with a passion for botany.
Пиздишь?
I do not think so. This photograph of you and your father at Kью-Гарденс suggests the opposite.
But you have no right to.
Do tell us more about your father.
He was, indeed, the greatest botanist of his time in the British Empire. He worked together with Montague Dunn until the end of his life. He brought me in at the age of 12.
Did he get on well with Mr. Dunn?
No, I couldn't say that. They expanded Kью-Гарденс together, that was all. And it was all my father's work, for Dunn always lived the high life.
So Mr. Dunn was not helping your father?
Oh, yes, he provided the financial support. And as far as he was concerned, that fulfilled his role. But the worst of it was, he declared himself as the master of Kью-Гарденс. Fame meant nothing to my father. So it was easy for Mr. Dunn to take all the credit.
Are you aware of the Divine Syndicate?
The Divine what? Is this a joke?
No, I am quite serious.
What a ridiculous name. Anyway, I have never heard of this syndicate.
There is a bust of Montague Dunn in the nursery.
A bust? Oh, that old thing. Further proof of that outrageous ego of his.
But why in that room in particular?
Oh, I don't know. It has always been there.
Врешь.
It is strange, because I recovered a fragment of the bust inside the Colonial Collection Room.
Really? Oh, well, so I am mistaken. It ought to have been removed during the cleanup. This room is so small.
Do you know who moved it?
I have no idea. Surely Mr. Dunn requested it. Do you have any more questions like this? Because fragments of rock are not my responsibility.
Evidently. Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. I perceive that you are passionate about the Royal Navy.
Passionate? No, not really. I like ships, that is all.
Are you quite sure? You do not seem to be so interested in plants.
It's difficult, that's all. My future is here. It has never been about anything else.
And yet I know that the Royal Naval College rejected your application.
Ah, you truly are as clever as they say. Yes, that's correct. And in fact, my father was strongly against the idea. He did his best to ruin my plans, although I almost did succeed. But my dreams were shattered, Mr. Holmes.
Tell me, have you ever heard of the Divine Syndicate?
No, I cannot say that I have.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Позже. Давай. Так, 14 июня 89-го участник Божественного синдиката написал жалобу. Скандал в Божественном синдикате. Божественный синдикат — последователи Верховного Божества Тревана, собирающиеся на 48-й Гроссвеннер-стрит, Карлтон-роуд. Защитники растений и деревьев стали объектом административного разбирательства. Руководители этой организации подозреваются в финансовых махинациях. Дело может дойти до суда. Между тем, против данного расследования выступили многие высокопоставленные лица. На самом деле, это частная организация, ставящая целью защиту природы и объединяющая многих влиятельных людей, включает в себя и представителей оппозиционной партии.
Here it is. And here is the Divine Syndicate's address. Perfect. It is time to find out what they have against Montague Dunn.
Ватсон, отсматриваешь? Ай-яй-яй. Ой.
Someone should take Toby for a walk. Have you found something interesting?
Come on, Toby. We have some work for you to do. Let us go to Kью-Гарденс. Let us take Toby to the laboratory. He will pick up the scent of this mysterious substance. Search, Toby. Search. Congratulations, Toby. Now let us see what you have found. This is the bottle that was used in the laboratory. It was buried here. There is still some liquid remaining in the bottle, with gold flakes, a tiny caterpillar. Not surprising to see one in a garden, but at the bottom of a bottle. If I go there, Toby will wait for me in the cab.
This place is beautiful, Holmes. Its atmosphere is remarkably soothing.
Let us find someone who could help us. Good day to you, sir. My name is Sherlock...
I am exalting the sap. A while can you wait? From the trace of elements and moreover from the quality of the ambient geotropism it depends. Therefore, please, mind my gravitropism. Its balance, do not disturb.
Disturbed is most definitely the word.
There. Completed is the symbiosis. Welcomed you are. To introduce myself I shall. I am the Green Grand Mystic.
The Green Grand Mystic himself.
This is me. Who am I speaking to?
We are two gentlemen who are extremely interested in the vegetation philosophy that is advocated by this establishment.
Listening to you, I am.
Последний участник дела.
We visited Kью-Гарденс, and we found your symbols on their flower pots.
Coincidence, I am thinking. They would scavenge our refuse. It would not surprise me.
It was merely an observation. We should like to take a look around, to immerse ourselves in the wisdom that emanates from here.
It is a school of anastomosis, the divine scholastic syndicate for vegetation veneration and meditation. You may say, the divine syndicate. Glory to the eukaryotic. Only true devotees, those whose hearts are ready to spermatophize in sharing of knowledge, are permitted to physically enter our vegetable kingdom and its wisdom. And to be permitted, you must earn it. Yes.
Green Grand Mystic, we are ready to become devotees and gain access to your temple.
What is the name of our Lord, our God King?
Our God King's name is Treewan, Green Grand Mystic.
Hola, good, I like you. Here is the holy key to the wisdom place. Holy donation can you make whenever you so wish.
Thank you so much.
I pray you to taste our fertilizer substance. From the burdens of life it helps to free.
But of course.
Raw sap, it is called. It is near the entrance.
Well, we will leave you to your meditation. A fragment of a flower pot. Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here. The Kью-Гарденс symbol.
You came to make a donation? Glory to Treewan!
This must be Treewan, the Divine Syndicate's god. This door is locked, but I can try to open it. These instruments are used for smoking opium. This cabinet is full of chemicals. They are the same as the ones we found in the laboratory at Kью-Гарденс. That would be enough to perform the most difficult of chemical experiments. A vast amount of opium. Let us determine just what we have found here. Let us pour liquid from the bottle into a test tube to perform an analysis. This is the bottle that we found hidden at Kью-Гарденс. Let us use a pipette to take a sample of the liquid and fill a test tube. A colorless, water-based liquid. Quite a strong floral aroma.
Holmes? What are you doing?
It has a bitter taste.
What if it's poisonous?
Did you ever see poison stored in enormous jars like that? Anyway, there is a doctor nearby.
So what do you think it is?
It is some kind of organic compound. Let us vaporize the liquid and see what happens. Let us determine just what we have found here. Small colorless crystals. Colorless, tiny crystals that are soluble in water, with a floral smell and a bitter taste. Watson, could you pass me that small bottle, please?
Of course. Here you are. Holmes, do you know what it is?
Wagner's reagent. There was a label on the bottle that you passed to me.
No, Holmes, I meant the bottle that we found.
Let me add the reagent and see if there is any sediment, and then I shall tell you. I need to take a pipette and make several drops of the reagent. I need to take a pipette and make several drops of the reagent. I need to take a pipette and make several drops of the reagent. Red sediment, just as I suspected. This liquid is of organic origin. It contains some alkaloid. Most likely it is unstable, and that is why there is a quantity of gold dust to prevent contamination. This mixture is probably a fertilizer. Someone was carrying out unusual experiments in the garden's laboratory.
Исполнился.
This green grand mystic fellow seems rather suspicious, Holmes. What should we do next, Holmes?
Just be careful with the plants during your inspection.
Excuse me, but I have to tidy up this room.
Water lily greenhouse. According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building. Dry tropics. A ventilation system. It should regulate the temperature of the staff buildings. Seed house.
Poor Mr. Montague Dunn. It is so awful.
This substance is an alkaloid, the same as in the bottle we found in the bushes at Kью-Гарденс. Do you have friends at Kью-Гарденс?
None. Not worthy they are.
Nevertheless, we have seen Kью-Гарденс flower pots in your yard. How could they happen to be there?
What? Our sacred place you permitted yourself to search. Sacrilege.
Oh, really now? There was a theft of plants at Kью-Гарденс a matter of days ago, and we believe the pots we found here may be connected with it. Please tell us, were you involved?
No, those plants were ours. They had stolen them from us.
How so?
Their director, Dump, I believe.
Done.
Yes, that's what I said. He borrowed from us 3 of our sisters for the exhibition at his green fly-infested gardens. But he never gave them back to us. Excuses and imbecility. So we went in and saved them.
I see. So, if you stole those rare plants from them, then it means... Ah, I get it. Bravo, Holmes. I think the case is solved.
No, we did not steal. We saved. Well, as a matter of fact, we were unable to find our 3 plants.
I beg your pardon. And yet you took all of the exotic plants from the stand.
They had disappeared. It was the least we could do. They stole our sisters, and so we stole theirs.
Well, we will leave you to your meditation.
Итак, что мы имеем? Монтегю-дан вдохнул сильный растительный яд, подготовленный для него. Допустим, это как-то связано с украденными растениями. Кражи и убийства. Убийцами могли быть те же люди, которые похитили экзотические растения, включая ядовитые, с последней выставки в Кью-Гарденс. Еще улики. Увольнение Уайт и отравление. Да ладно, никак не связано. А Уайт и Дан. Мисс Уайт и мистер Дан недавно поссорились. Монтегю Дан планировал уволить мисс Уайт из Кью-Гарден. Отравление и гнев Хэмиша. Чё, нет? Новый директор тоже нет. Унижение Альберта тоже мимо. Украденное опасное растение тоже нет. Уайт и Дан тоже нет. Учеба Уайт мимо. Родители мисс Уайт мимо. Амбиции Альберта. Исчезновение. Воры из божественного синдиката. Отравление и воры из божественного синдиката. Что, вообще мимо? Больше ничего нет, значит я чего-то не нашел. Так, секундочку. На чем мы там остановились? Найти растение, найти убийцу. Найти, что скрывает божественный синдикат. Ага. То есть мне тут еще искать и искать. Этим можно баловаться бесконечно.
That should be the raw sap that the Green Grand Mystic spoke of. It is rather delicious, and of an excellent quality.
My word, Holmes. Their sap is like a form of cocaine. This Green Grand Mystic fellow seems rather suspicious, Holmes. We should search every inch of this place.
Те самые растения. Те самые гусеницы.
Caterpillars. They are raised as food for certain plants. Let's take them. A tropical plant. Nothing of interest. A tropical plant. Nothing of interest. A tropical plant. A tropical. A tropical. A trop. These 3 plants are identical to the ones shown at the exhibition. I shall take them.
Так, итогось. Что дальше? Да ладно.
Follow my path, and better you will feel.
Так, отравление и подозрительные ингредиенты.
Perfect, Watson. We can begin our experiment. I imagine that one of these plants would be capable of releasing a toxic vapor. I need to find out exactly how it could be done. I shall begin now. Watson, if you are at all optimistic to have dinner this evening, then I'd recommend that you put on the gas mask. A carnivorous plant. A prickly plant. This is a strange and unusual plant. I find the behavior of predators utterly fascinating. This plant seems to have had no reaction from the caterpillars.
Так, стой, подожди. Не ешь.
This plant seems to have had no reaction from the caterpillars.
О! Что-то нашел. Свернулась.
This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid.
Так, а ты? Тоже неактивным.
This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid.
И дьявольский цветок. Сейчас.
It appears to open after being soaked with alkaloid.
И что нам это дает? Так, ну здесь понятно, он сейчас стрелять начнет во все стороны.
My word! It shot a spike at me after I stabbed it with a pin. I imagined that its reaction would be ferocious if I increased the strength of my attack. It closed again. I believe I saw a small cloud of gas. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we agitate it to a greater extent whilst it is opened, it will reveal a little more.
Итак, простимулировать. И как простимулировать? Так.
It appears to open after being soaked with alkaloid.
Так.
Toxic gas with spores. Extraordinary. The plants would be capable of killing only if they were directly next to the victim and stimulated at precisely the right moment.
Let us take our caterpillars to the Colonial Collection Room. We may see things more clearly there.
It is too early, Watson. Our suspects will be there. Let us investigate Kью-Гарденс one more time and ask some questions.
White, Дана, мимо. Новый директор. Украденное растение. Новый директор. Унижение Альберта. Амбиции. Смертельный расчет. Что-то добавил, да? Да-да. Знание White. Пока ничего не берем. Новый директор. Унижение. Смерть. Украденные амбиции. Вор. Исчезновение White. Гнев Хэмиша. Что-то новое. Мотив Хэмиша. У Мартина Хэмиша был мотив. Он считал, что Дан сломал ему и его отцу жизнь, присвоив всю славу за их работы. Хэмиш мечтал возглавить Кью-Гарденс, но понимал, что это невозможно, пока жив Дан. Здесь же недостаток опыта у Уайт, знания Уайт. Знаний мисс Уайт, полученных в университете, могло быть недостаточно для того, чтобы обеспечить правильную реакцию ядовитых растений. У мисс Уайт хватало знаний, чтобы активировать ядовитые растения. Шоулики. Уайт. Да. учеба и социальное положение Маргарет Уайт полностью зависели от денег Монтегю Дана. Так, унижение Альберта, смертельный расчет нет, исчезновение нет, украденное нет, амбиции Альберта. Так, мотив Альберта. У Альберта был мотив убить отца Монтегю Дана. Дан разрушил мечту Альберта поступить на службу во флот. Убив отца, Альберт мог отомстить и получить возможность стать следующим директором Кью-Гарденс. Но парнишке это не надо. Смертельный расчет. Амбиции. Недостаток опыта у Альберта. Альберт не особо силен в ботанике. Сомнительно, что он мог узнать, как заставить растения выпустить ядовитые споры. У Альберта хватало знаний, чтобы активировать ядовитые растения. Да, они друг друга конфликтуют между собой. Опасные растения, смертельный расчет нет, воры из божественного синдиката. Секта украла все. Божественный синдикат похитил все растения с выставки, включая ядовитые. Они могли их использовать для убийства Монтегю Дана. Похитил с выставки все, кроме ядовитых растений. Все. Недостаток знаний. Здесь тоже недостаток. Все. Кражи и убийства. Избирательная кража. Но если выбрать все, кто все украла, вот тебе, пожалуйста. Дана убил синдикат. Божественный синдикат спланировал смерть Монтегю Дана. У них были разногласия с Даном по поводу похищенных растений. Кара. Итак. Кью-Гарден.
Can you tell me if you saw Mr. Montague Dunn on the day of his death?
Yes, of course. I met him, and we went to see Albert, his son, at around 9:30. He appeared quite calm.
What were you doing on the morning of the accident?
After paying multiple visits to Albert, I had a little talk with Miss White. Then I returned to my desk to complete some paperwork. Suddenly I observed that Mr. Dunn was not feeling well, so I ran immediately to fetch Albert. I clearly remember that it was around 10:30, for I was late that morning.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. Your father's death does seem highly suspicious. What were your movements here on that day?
Suspicious? Well, I was working in the seed house, taking care of Lysa something, or Lear Pontus, or... No, wait. Ah, these Latin names. And I spent so many hours trying to memorize them.
Did you see your father that day?
Yes. He came here with Mr. Hamish for his weekly visit. There was nothing unusual about that.
And then?
Nothing. They stepped out to the backyard. It was perhaps 20 minutes before 10 o'clock. Then about 10 minutes later, I saw my father heading for the dry tropics room while Mr. Hamish returned here.
And Mr. Hamish and Miss White, what were they both doing that morning?
Mr. Hamish visited me a couple of times. I also saw him returning from talking with Miss White, and that was at 10 minutes past 10. But then he ran back here to me to tell me that my father was feeling unwell. We hurried across to the water lily room, and I found my father lying dead on the floor. Oh, my God.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon. Can you tell me what Mr. Dunn was doing upon the day of his death?
I can, but there is nothing very special to say. I was in the laboratory when I saw Mr. Dunn heading towards me. Tuesday is the day of his weekly visit. It was supposed to be at 9, but he was 10 minutes late, as usual.
And then?
Well, he came in to say good morning. Then I saw him spend 2 or 3 minutes by the plants outside the laboratory. After that, he ran out in the direction of the nursery, where Mr. Hamish was working. He was always in a rush during the inspection, you see. I would pity anyone who stood in his way.
And that was the last time you saw him?
Yes. I stayed in the laboratory until 20 minutes to 11, when I heard the cries of Albert and Mr. Hamish from the large glass house.
I joined them as soon as I could, for I knew that something must be very wrong.
What exactly were you doing in the laboratory?
I was recording an experiment for my thesis. I only stopped my work once when Mr. Hamish visited me briefly around 10 o'clock.
You say you were recording an experiment when the tragedy occurred. Might I listen to the roll?
Certainly. Please do. You will find it in the laboratory. It is number 320.
Thank you, miss.
Everyone has gone, Holmes. The way is clear.
Вон оно что. Через вентиляцию что-то упало на этот. Я съел этот. И вот, да.
When Montague Dunn was standing close by the plants, the caterpillars were released and caused the deadly spores to activate. Panicking, and likely already half asphyxiated, Montague Dunn started back and knocked over the bust. He rushed to the door, but it was locked. He had to force it open with his shoulder. We already know the outcome. Montague Dunn collapsed and died not far from the pool. Well, it is time to perform our experiment on the ventilation system. The caterpillars could only fall from the ventilation duct. Our caterpillars are in place. I'll activate the ventilation system so that they fall down. Watson, stay here and observe.
All right, Holmes.
These windows were perfectly cleaned. The power is on. The engine cannot be started whilst the transmission is active. The engine has started. The ventilation system is working.
Что должно произойти? Пацан, что-нибудь сыпется?
Excellent. This ventilation fan is working. Let us see if I can activate the other one. Perfect. Now I just need to find Watson to check the result.
It works perfectly, Holmes. Bravo. Now, if you could just help me to get rid of these caterpillars.
Perfect. Now we know how the murder of Montague Dunn was carried out, by activating both Albert's and Mr. Hamish's fans.
But only from Mr. Hamish's workplace would it be possible to see when Montague Dunn entered the Colonial Collection Room.
Вот и я того же мнения.
Let's go to Scotland Yard.
Locked.
Почему закрыто?
Inspector, I believe that Martin Hamish is guilty of the murder of Montague Dunn.
Aha! I knew it. I'll send the lads around to arrest him.
Very good. I shall wait to hear from you. Inspector, I came here as quickly as I could.
Martin Hamish is in the large glass house. There's no need to hurry.
Буквально минуту. Продолжаем. Так, в большой оранжерее. Большая оранжерея у нас где была?
Holmes, my God!
Yes, we found him like that.
Our messing around with the ventilation system didn't go unnoticed. Mr. Hamish realized that we knew.
Inspector, could you arrange the body, please? I should like to examine it.
Хэмиша. Жизнь превратилась в сущий ад. Я нахожу это невыносимым. Дан заслужил смерти, но я не могу простить себя за его кровь на моих руках. Мы Хэмиша практически всегда были жертвами обстоятельств, и я не исключение. Я должен уйти. И я сделаю это здесь и сейчас. Прощайте.
Holmes, his left shoe is unique. This anomaly is often a characteristic of...
A club foot. Bravo, Watson. That is the key element of this case. The mark around the neck is very visible. He died instantly. Something about this rings very oddly.
Why do you say that, Mr. Holmes?
Why? Because of Mr. Hamish's club foot. Oh, I deserve to be kicked from here to Charing Cross. I should have noticed it.
But, Mr. Holmes, I can't see why.
No, I don't suppose you do. You must recall that Mr. Dunn was locked inside the Colonial Collection Room by the murderer. If it was Mr. Hamish, he would have had to run up to his workplace to trigger the fan situated above it, taking into consideration the condition of his foot.
Well, it is still possible.
Perhaps, but it is rather strange that such a person as Mr. Hamish decided to base his plan on the speed of his gait.
You mean to say that somebody helped him?
So the suicide is questionable?
Correct. Mr. Hamish accuses only himself in his letter, and so the investigation stops.
Possibly an accomplice, then? That idea had not occurred to me, Mr. Holmes.
I have another idea, Inspector. Thanks to the testimony that we have collected, we are able to rebuild the events as they took place that day.
With a timeline, such as we did in the Jack the Ripper case.
Precisely.
The map at the entrance of Kью-Гарденс should help us with our timeline.
Let us analyze the facts and statements so that we may recreate the events of that morning.
Альберт встретил Монтегю, Дана и Мартина. Монтегю, Дана и Мартина Хэмишев в павильоне семян. Мартин Хэмиш вернулся в павильон семян. Так, Мартин Хэмиш и Монтегю Дан отправились на встречу с Альбертом в павильоне семян около 9:30. Было без 20 минут 10, когда Хэмиш и Монтегю Дан отправились на задний двор. Без 20:10. Дан возобновил инспекцию и вошел в комнату с сухими тропиками. Хэмиш вернулся в павильон семян. Мартин Хэмиш разговаривал с мисс Уайт в 10:00. в 10. Находилась в лаборатории до 10:40. Когда увидела Хэмиша и Альберта, выражались и присоединилась к ним. Хэмиш побежал за Альбертом, как только увидел, что Монтегю Дану плохо, около 10:30. Альберт все утро провел в павильоне семян. Он заметил, как Хэмиш вернулся от мисс Уайт в 10:10. Так, было без 20 минут 10. Как раз 10 минут спустя это уже было. И 9:40, а 9:50. Павильон семян. Мартин Хэмиш разговаривал с мисс Уайт в 10. Альберт все утро провел в павильоне семян. Он заметил, как Хэмиш вернулся от мисс Уайт в 10:10.
Let us summarize. Montague Dunn was poisoned inside the Colonial Collection Room. He forced open the door, which means that someone locked him inside there at 10:20. Martin Hamish was last seen at 10:10. This means that he has approximately 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room. Given that he was club-footed, it is doubtful. Albert also has 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room, which is quite enough time. Miss White was last seen at 10 o'clock, which means that she had approximately 20 minutes to lock the door. More than enough time. Perfect, Watson. Now, let us ascertain who assisted Martin Hamish in killing Montague Dunn.
Все, принимаем решение. Так. Вот здесь еще что-то есть. Сейчас он пройдет. Раз, два, три, четыре. Вот здесь и вот здесь что-то. То есть все указывает на то, что Хэмиш. Послать сигнал. Каким образом? Раз. Что у нас там по следам? Какие были следы?
The traces are thinner in some places. These boot marks are fresh. It appears as though someone was dragging their feet.
Так, тащил ноги по земле. Тащил по земле. Так, ну давай попробуем в доброго полицейского сыграть. Оправдаем Альберта.
It was Albert who assisted Martin Hamish with the murder of his father, Montague Dunn, an act of desperation to end years of misery and humiliation.
Poor boy. You're right, Holmes. He was also a victim. He'll live the rest of his life with the death of his father on his conscience.
And that is enough. The case is closed, Watson. We can say officially that Martin Hamish acted alone.
Так, спойлер. Нет, не Мартин. Ну, если не Мартин, то... Кейт. Уайт. Личность сообщника. То есть это может быть еще и не все. Установить личность сообщника.
These young plants must be delicate if they are kept in the nursery. I don't hear anything.
В лаборатории под названием 320. Также, по-моему, было. Вы найдете ее в лаборатории номер 320. Лаборатории. Я же сейчас в лаборатории.
Let us summarize. Montague, Martin, Albert, Miss. Perfect, Watson. Now, let us ascertain who assisted Martin Hamish.
Под номером 320.
Cylinder Records. Here it is.
These plants, classified as shrubs or grasses, have adapted to their arid environment due to a system of underground roots.
This recording seems very long. It is unnecessary to listen to all of it. Miss White was in the laboratory, as she told us.
But Holmes, how can you be certain that we'll find Miss White here?
It is obvious, Watson. Just use your brain.
I am using it. I do use it.
Now that the rope has tightened around Martin Hamish, Miss White must act to erase all traces of her implication. After the suicide of her accomplice, there is one final trace remaining: the deadly plants of the Divine Syndicate. She will be there.
Very good. Shall we go?
Just one moment. Now listen to me, Watson. I shall see her alone. You will conceal yourself behind her, quietly.
Whatever are you planning?
Nothing spectacular. The impulses of women have always been a mystery to me. But she is a bold one, and so we must be cautious.
All right, you can count on me, Holmes.
Mr. Holmes, good day to you.
You do not seem surprised, Miss White.
Well, I was expecting you.
Not for too long, I believe. So please tell me, as it is still unclear, who planned the murder? Was it you?
You were wrong, Mr. Holmes.
It was Martin Hamish, then. You managed to convince him to take on a more prominent role.
You could not be further from the truth.
You think that you can fool me?
You don't care what I think.
I am not blaming you, Miss White. You are a young and brilliant woman, trapped in a dull and hostile world. Life has never been easy, men in particular.
You... It is hopeless.
Indeed. Well, it may be true that I cannot yet change the world, but I can spare your life.
My life. There is nothing left to save. I have lost everything. Do you hear me? Everything! And you were just like all the others. You would abuse and take advantage of a vulnerable woman.
I hardly think so. Now just listen to me.
I've tried so hard, but I have had enough.
Miss White, no! I beg you not to do this, Miss White.
Don't come any closer.
Please remain calm. We can help you.
Not one step further. Don't try to stop me.
Stop this foolishness. You cannot truly want to die.
No, it's too late.
This is tragic, Holmes.
Are you able to do anything?
I'm afraid not. The poison has been fulgurating. Her heart stopped instantly, poor child.
Переиграть. Надо спасти.
But how...
It is... No,
Very... What?
no. You... No, so... I am... In...
I...
I beg you not to do this, Miss White.
Don't come any closer.
Please remain calm. We can help you.
Not one step further. Don't try to stop me.
Stop this foolishness. You cannot truly want to die.
No, it's too late.
Well done, Watson. She was not faking.
Miss White, you have no right to take your own life.
Dr. Watson? Did you just save me? Or worse?
Ну что, глава закончена. Начинается новая глава, прогулка в лунном свете. Смотрим первую заставку и прощаемся.
Where are you going, Holmes? Have you been invited somewhere?
We have been invited, Watson,
We have. Where to?
to the Baker Street Irregulars' annual dinner. They sent us an invitation. It is on the table.
A dinner? How could those street urchins afford anything like that? I can't understand your interest in them, Holmes. They're dirty. They wouldn't hesitate to steal your wallet. They...
Watson, you should be excited. It is a secret dinner. Its location changes every year. Read the menu. Sounds mouth-watering.
All right. We, the secret police of Baker Street, invite you, Sherlock Holmes, and Dr. Watson to our annual dinner. Menu, entree, frozen rat head salad. Is this a joke?
Not at all. Pray continue.
Main course, sow's udder in Danny Nutcracker's way. Ah, sounds disgusting, Holmes. Hedgehog goulash. Street turnips in homemade juice. And it goes on.
Ah, I can hear them on the stairs now.
Oh, we can't go there. We can't eat that.
Watson, you'll hurt the feelings of those poor children. We have to go.
Oh, Mr. Holmes.
It is fine, Mrs. Hudson.
Mr. Holmes!
Wiggins, Dr. Watson is getting ready. He will be delighted to join us. You don't look well, my young man. Is there something wrong? Don't tell me the dinner is cancelled.
Mr. Holmes, it's my brother Leighton. He's in a prison cell. They say he's killed 2 men. You have to help us, Mr. Holmes, 'cause I know he didn't do it.
Where is he now?
From what I've heard, they took him to the yard, and they gave him a good beating already. You know what they're like. They'll hang him. They won't look any further.
Holmes, we have to help him.
Well, and forget about the dinner. Wiggins, I'll take the case.
You're fantastic, Mr. Holmes. I'll be waiting for you at the crime scene. You'll be there, right? It's on Half Moon Street in Whitechapel.
Very well.
Неплохая завязка. Будем разбираться в следующем стриме. Спасибо, кто смотрел, кто посмотрит, кто посмотрел. Подписывайтесь, ставьте лайки, оставляйте комментарии, нажимайте на колокольчик, все уведомления. А на сегодня это все. Всем спасибо, всем пока.